It's your host again, Reverend Rahab Mwangi. It's Real Talk Show where we believe it, we dream it, and achieve it. Today I have another amazing guest for you. She's very inspiring. She have walked a journey. She have walked a mile, and she'll be able to tell you her story, and you'll be very inspired. Parents who are watching, don't switch off the channel. You'll be very inspired by her testimony in the name of Jesus. Let me introduce, and she'll tell you more about herself in Jesus' name. Thank you very much. Yes, and Mathu, karibu sana katika Reverend Rahab TV. This is where we believe it, we dream it, and achieve it. So I want you to tell our guests your story, your journey, because I believe you have come from far. Yeah. And your testimony is very inspiring, it's very powerful, and you have come somewhere. And I know you'll be able to help somebody who is in the same mess that you are in, and they can come out. Okay. Yes.
So my name is Mathu. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I was in addiction for 20 years, and I've been sober for 15 years.
Wow.
I started drinking when I was about 10 years old. I got my first drink from my dad, who was an alcoholic. Alcoholism runs in our family. Yeah. And I'm a public educator also, and a recovery coach.
You mean at 10 years your dad gave you a drink?
Yeah, that's when he started sipping. We started with Muratina, which was considered a harmless African brew. So it was just a sip here, a sip there, and we really didn't know that later on it was going to mess up our lives.
Yes.
So with that kind of tasting here and there, then later it started progressing. It started worsening when my dad died. I was daddy's girl. So my dad used to take me to the clubs. He would give me a sip of Tusker here, a sip of Pilsner, or whatever drink that he was taking. And actually his friends used to drink a lot also. Because you know, an alcoholic or a drug addict will always associate with the, with the same people. So the children of his friends as well started sipping and trying out alcohol at very tender ages. And actually, out of all the children in that group, in my dad's group and their children, I think it's only me and my brothers who are alive right now. Most of them have died from alcohol-related complications.
Jesus, yeah.
Including my dad, my sister, my brother. Yeah, my brother passed on 2 years ago.
Due to alcoholism?
Due to alcoholism. My dad the same. And my late sister also was drinking. Yeah. So it's something that that runs in our family. We've actually traced alcoholism to our great-grandfather. And I tell people that addiction is a disease. It's not something that, we wake up and decide, I want to become an alcoholic. Nobody wants to be an alcoholic. Nobody wishes to be an alcoholic.
Nobody, yes.
You start by sipping, experimenting, and then you end up now being an addict, whereby now you're not able to stop. Yes. When you really want to stop, you're not able to stop.
You're not, yes.
Because actually the brain is the one that gets addicted. So the body starts demanding for more, and that is what happened to me. I was, I'm genetically predisposed to alcoholism, and then two, when my dad died, I never got time to mourn my dad. I never went for therapy. In fact, actually, the moment my dad was buried, the following day I was taken back to school. Wow. I went to Gandu Girls in the 70s, one of the best schools in Kenya. Yeah. That tells you I was quite bright in school. Yes,
Wow.
Yeah, so when my dad passed away and I was a daddy's girl, that left a very big gap, emptiness in me. Yes. Because now my dad used to take me everywhere. Every weekend I'm with him. Here he is gone. So my mom was very, very strict. And actually, me and my mom didn't get along as much because, my dad was a very social person and my mom was the opposite. In fact, even I was asking my mom the other day, mulipatana wapi? One is very social, one is very antisocial. Yeah, so my mom was very strict, and being now having been used to that carefree life with my dad, again now it actually destabilized me in a way. So actually, to keep my father's spirit alive, I started now sneaking alcohol into school. I started introducing other girls to drinking and smoking. I started smoking at 10.
Wow.
My dad would give me a cigarette and tell me, have a puff.
What do you mean?
Yes, light it for me. And then I would cough, and then he would tell me, you'll get used to it. And I got used to it. And he would actually tell me, when you grow up, I want you to be like me. And my dad was a violent person.
And what did your mom used to say at that point?
My mom had not say in that house.
She have...
With my dad around?
No.
She had no say. And then, you know, my mom was brought up in a very strict Christian family.
Yes.
Whereby now, and you know, before you were supposed to stay in marriage and vumilia and all that kind of thing. So she was that kind of a wife who doesn't argue with the husband. You know those days.
So that time when your dad is giving you a sip and a cigarette, you think it's okay. You don't feel like, why is he doing this? You feel it's okay.
No, I felt it's okay because this is my father. This is my parents.
You,
I mean, why should my dad give me something poisonous?
Yes.
Why should he harm me?
Yes.
Why should he want my life destroyed?
Yes.
And I later came to learn that my dad was also a very sick person with alcoholism.
Yeah.
So he died when he was in a road accident when he was very, very drunk. Yeah, so the car rolled and he died on the spot. So
at school you started introducing other girls?
I started introducing other girls, and that's why I always tell people, don't even, what do you call it, shield your child or protect your child that haribiwa. In fact, actually, your child is the one who spoils other children.
Yeah.
So when a parent comes and tells me, the company doing mharibu, I tell them, no, your son is the one who do anaharibu wengine. Because like, if my mom was to be us, she could have said, maybe the group in school
it's bad.
It's what messed up my daughter. But it was the other way around, and I am not ashamed to say it. So this continued in school, and it messed up my education.
Yes.
I never got to pass my exams in 4th form.
Wow.
Even having been in a very good school. So now that became the song now with my mom every day. You go to Gandu and you come out with a 3rd division. 3rd division was unheard of in Gandu because it was, according to now Gandu standards, it was from Form 1, Form 6. Then university and becomes someone prominent. So actually even my classmates, some of my classmates are very senior people in the government. And it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that was their path. This is my path. Because if I never drank, if I never got to those points, who would be talking about alcoholism?
That's
because
right.
Believe you me, I think I'm the only female Kenyan who has gone public about addiction, and who is actually still going public about addiction. You know, addiction is shame-based, both in active addiction and in recovery. Why? Because the family feels that you know, unawaibisha, talking about the family, what you used to do and all that. So after school, now with the 3rd division I couldn't join Form 5 and 6, and actually I enrolled at Kenya Polytechnic for a diploma course in IM, institutional management. So I did catering and housekeeping.
Yeah.
But you know, that was not the expectation of the family.
No.
Because my cousins who had been to Gandu, one is a doctor, the other one is a pharmacist, the other one is a veterinary doctor, and then you were in Gandu, and then you're going to Kenya Polytechnic. It didn't work for that family. No, they were not saying how. Because I was supposed to be a doctor. You know, those family expectations,
high expectations.
And societal expectations, you know, so much that actually they mess you up so badly that you mean you are in Gandu and you're in Kenya Polytechnic now.
How? You
know, it's like you are a failure, you are a total failure, you know, you never joined university and all this. And actually that didn't help me.
Yes.
So when we start, bambering and calling people names and all that simply because they're drinking, that doesn't help. In fact, all those things they said about me made me deteriorate even further. So again, when I went to Kenya Polytechnic, there's a lot of freedom. Nobody cared what time we came back to the hostels. We used to get a boom of 500 shillings. A beer was going for 3 shillings and 50 cents. A packet of cigarettes, the same. And actually, we used to live at our hostels were at community, just near Pan Africa Hotel. Okay. So we just used to go through the back door. With 500 shillings, and a beer is going for, Pan Africa was going maybe for 4 bob, the most expensive.
At that time,
At that time. So I continued drinking Kenya Poly. No one to control me. My mom is not around. I lived a very carefree life where I really didn't care what happened. I didn't care about my education. And I started going for dancing competitions. I think, and just the other day is when I was looking back at my life and I said, it's like I was trying to escape from my dad's death. I was trying to escape from some kind of reality, because that's one death that I never processed and I never got any closure until the other day when I went for a course in counseling and I really cried over my dad's death. After so many years, for nearly 40 years, it's when I was able now to get closure to my dad's death. So I always tell people, when you see a person drinking, don't just judge them. Try and find out where they're coming from, because I was hurting a lot.
Yes.
And so what did I do? I just wanted to be different. And so started joining dancing competitions here and there, missing classes now because my drinking became bad with the now money available. And in 1982, I enrolled for Miss Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Beauty contest. And actually it's my friend, and may her soul rest in peace, because she later died. She was addicted to heroin. She became an IDU, injecting drug abuser. And she died, and I felt so bad, because after rehab I really looked for her. But I found that she had died about 8 years ago, because we used to drink together. So she comes to class and tells me, hey, Mathu, what are you doing in class? Ukishona bed cover hapa, and beautiful girls like you are enrolling for Miss Kenya at KICC. So I actually left my bed cover there on the table and dashed to KICC.
Wow.
And told them, hey, you guys, you know what? I'm beautiful, I'm tall, I have the height, I have the looks. I don't need to be interviewed. Can you write my name down? I have a class. So actually, even from there, I didn't even go back to class. I went to 680.
Yeah.
I went to 680, the pub, and
okay.
continued drinking there. Say, hey, you guys, you know what? I'm going for Miss Kenya Beauty Contest. So, and you know, people encouraged me, and from there, where? Don't think I ever went to Kenya Polytechnic now again. In the afternoons, we are always at KACC learning how to walk. We had a trainer, and may her soul rest in peace, because she also died in a road accident. She was called Ellie Grant, and she had a college for modeling. So I used to go for catwalking until the D-Day came. Then we catwalked very well, and actually I came number 2.
Wow.
Miss Kenya first runners-up, and that was great. And then, you know, you can imagine with all the sponsors, a lot of money, a lot of gifts, a lot of complimentaries in hotels and Kenatco taxis. So you can imagine I used to get a Kenatco taxi from the hostel to college.
Wow.
And you can imagine now, the Kenatco taxis, that time there were Mercedes Benzes, and you know, the driver wore gloves, and they opened for you, Miss Kenya, coming out of the car. And you know, I thought I was a star. Little did I know that this thing was going to mess me up later.
Wow.
So missing classes, I had a contract with a boutique, so I started modeling for them. So you can imagine the boom, plus the modeling thing that I'm doing, plus the money that I got, plus all these complimentaries, that, you know, education was not important to me. I thought I felt like Naomi Campbell.
Yeah,
so Maisha was London until I flopped my exams.
Wow.
But then this time round, I changed friends.
Yeah.
Because now you're a beauty queen, so I dropped my college boyfriend and said, I mean, you can't just follow me in Namigu at na KPS. I'm a beauty queen, so you either, if you follow me, you carry my bag.
Yeah.
But hatuna uhusiano sana.
You're not on my class.
Yeah, so I said, I went to another level of friends, a higher level of friends. People who had cars, nice cars, a lot of money. See wale watu wanangojaga ati glasi inakauka ndio anasema lete. No. People were buying, you know, vodka and lime on the rocks, gin and tonic, you know, those kind of things.
So you're still struggling with alcoholism?
I actually now went a notch higher from beer now to whiskeys and vodkas and all that.
Yes.
Changed clubs, started going to Serena, Intercont, you know, because of the kind of friends I was going to. And everybody wanted to be associated with me. Who would not want to be associated with a young, beautiful girl? So that messed up my life. I got a boyfriend who had good money and a real nice car. And actually, I became pregnant. I was supposed to go to Paris because Ellie was going to sponsor me to go to Paris and train and become an international model, number 1, number 2, and number 3.
Wow.
So when I got pregnant, I couldn't go.
You couldn't go.
I couldn't continue with the modeling career and all that. So because of my drinking, I fell out with my boyfriend. But still,
Now this one that got you pregnant.
yeah,
You fell out. Okay.
we fell out because of my drinking. And then since I was a government-sponsored student, I had to work for the government for 3 years. So I was posted to Nanyuki. I worked in a girls' school, and again I fell out with the management because of coming late.
The drinking, of course, is just going to
Oh
affect
yes,
you.
definitely. I was not going home at 9. It's
yeah.
those sides of 1 o'clock, and it's a girls' school, and you're being dropped by taxis. And then on top of that, I'd been housed within the school compound. So the girls would see me coming late, and you know all that.
Yeah.
And so actually, the headmaster told me, now we'll give you a house outside the compound.
Yeah.
Because now this is too much. It's not good for the girls. You're not being a good role model, and that's why I got a house outside the school compound. And then after 3 years, I fell out with the management of the school because of coming late, going to work drunk. And then this guy have abandoned me. You know, he came for my daughter's first birthday, the second birthday, the third one he never turned up. So I was a very frustrated young mother because I got my firstborn when I was, I think, 18
wow.
years old. And then you're in a strange town here, you are pregnant, you are a new mother, you have no support. So I started drinking, and then, you know, I made friends with captains working with Laikipia Air Base, and now I started keeping alcohol in the house. So actually, alcohol was a phone call away. I'll just call Laikipia Air Base and say, I would like to speak to Captain so-and-so, and the alcohol will be delivered in my house.
So you are more of an alcohol, or were you mixing both drugs and alcohol?
No, I was more into alcohol.
Alcoholism,
yeah.
Yes.
So I actually started keeping alcohol in the house, and I became sort of a closet drinker. Because it's like I was drifting into depression.
Yes.
Because I never expected this guy to abandon me and abandon the baby. And here, alcohol is readily available. I can keep it in the house.
Yes.
Once I ran out of stock, I just call again. And at times they would come and pick me up. We'd have parties, tunachinja mbuzi and all that. So I left Nanyuki. I just packed my things one day and left. I left everything at Bota. I just locked the house and gave the watchman the keys. I took my baby, I took my house girl, and came to Nairobi. So I stayed with my cousins, and that's when they told me that there's an opportunity for they are recruiting people in the housekeeping department at Pan-African Hotel. So I went, and you know how manipulative we can be. An alcoholic is a very manipulative. I'm an expert. Let's say I was an expert liar and an expert manipulator. But now I use my manipulation in another way, not you know, not in the negative way. So I actually got a job with no certificate, no college certificate, but I got a job as a room stewardess. That's where I started. Then I was promoted to a room supervisor, a floor supervisor, and my drinking became now so bad that I started having now shakes in the morning. So I couldn't function without alcohol. So what I used to do is to report to work very early in the morning. We used to clock in at 7, but I would clock in at 6:30 because the barman at the swimming pool bar was also an alcoholic. So what we used to do is to go take about 4 shots of vodka or whatever. This time I'd become choiceless. Whatever is open is what I'll take. And then smoke, take the first cigarettes, and then get the convulsions. And then I would stabilize, and then go to the front office, check the room occupancy list, check for the vacant room, get the master key, open it, go back to the swimming pool bar, get alcohol and store it in the water system of the toilet. So that the moment the alcohol level goes down, I'll go in and have a swig or two, and then I stabilize again. So I worked there for about 3 years, and then now I started missing work. Every time we got pay, I would not be seen there for about a week. And they called me, they said, ulikuja hapa ukatulilia, and we gave you a job. Now you're working for 3 weeks, but we are paying you for 4 weeks. So they told me, no, we don't want to sack you. We don't want you to lose your job because you have a nice personality. The only problem now is your drinking. And I think umekuja hapa and you've chicaned with people who drink a lot. And we want to save you because you are a good person. So we are giving you a transfer to either Kilaguni Safari Lodge or Kericho Tea Hotel. All the 3 hotels were under African tours, so it was just a transfer. So I actually thought Kilaguni Safari Lodge, Kilaguni. I saw them. So I decided, no, these people want me to go and die there, so that they don't want to be blamed for they watched me die through alcoholism, so they want to take me to their mustuni so that I can be eaten by lions and hyenas. You know we think so fast. Akili ya mlevi inaendaga
mlevi,
speed kuliko
but-
gari mpya. So by the time now they finished the what Kilagoni Lodge, Safari Lodge, I saw lions, I saw hyenas, I saw leopards, I saw tigers, everything that can be found eating me when I'm coming from
Oh, Lord.
those. You know, the moment you get to a new place, the first
Yeah.
thing to look for is a bar. So that you know you get to familiarize yourself with the hotel staff,
environment, yeah.
so, and the environment, so that you can be able to know how to sneak in alcohol and when to drink and where to drink. So you have to go there, mustuni, to those Maasai villages and look
Yeah.
for that drink of theirs called the Rogana. So I saw these people want me to die.
Yeah.
Then I'd been to Kericho before, and I knew Kericho Tea Hotel, there was a bar next called Tas, and I knew now I'd be drinking at Tas and report to work. By the time I make friends with the barman. So actually I opted, I said quickly, very, very quickly, Kericho Tea Hotel is okay with me.
Yeah.
So I took my daughter, house girl, Kericho, plus my late brother. So we went and my brother got a job with TMAM Construction. I got promoted, I became the assistant housekeeper. And now you can imagine, with no papers, I mean,
Imagine.
Mungu anakuangaliaga tu ukiwa mlevi, anakuinua tu aone kama hii ulevi utawacha. So actually, now that one even made it worse because I had an office, nilikuwa na simu hapo. So actually with time I realized the barman was also an alcoholic. So what I used to do is, I stopped now taking the first drink at Tas because my brother was also an alcoholic and there was a fence between Tas and Tea Hotel. So my brother told me instead of going round the gate, we make a hole in the fence so that we can just be sneaking into Tas and out of Tas through the fence because my house was just right behind the fence.
Yeah.
So it was just sneaking into Tas and, or at times, you know, unapiga binja, pombe inaletwa. So then I realized, kumbe, we have another alcoholic here. So we became best of friends, and actually he would actually deliver alcohol in the office in a coffee pot. So he would brew coffee and then put either vodka or gin and then lime. Slices of lime or lemon and bring it to the office. Who would think I'm drinking in the... So I started drinking now actually in the office. And people started realizing that after some time I become aggressive, I become abusive, I become what? And it got to a point where now my drinking became so bad. I met a guy also in working with African Highlands. He was a manager and we became friends. So he was drinking like me, those ones of going home at 2 or 3 in the morning. And I saw this is a guy now to be, you know, to be with, and he told me so many things about his wife, how his wife had left him, how bad the wife was. And I was saying, Kusamukoli, this wife is very bad, this man is very good. And I think the only thing that was tying us is alcohol.
Yeah.
Actually, nothing else. Because the moment the wife came back, he came back when I was 8 months pregnant, and the guy disowned me. And we were somehow cohabiting, you know, but I never let my house go. Because I didn't know what would happen.
Yeah.
So I still had my house at Tea Hotel and he had his at African Highlands. So when the wife came back, he disowned me.
Wow.
So this is the second baby where I'm being disowned. So you can imagine now, the only way to deal now with this stress, with this betrayal was alcohol. And actually my drinking now even became worse. But the good thing is that this lady came looking for me, the wife.
The wife.
Because the daughters, he had 2 children, a girl and a boy. So they used to call me mom. So when their real mother came, they said, we have another mom in Tea Hotel. Daddy, has Daddy told you? So now, the children kept on pressurizing her. We want to go to Tea Hotel because, you know, when they come to Tea Hotel, they'll swimming, they'll eat chips. Who has time to cook for the children? They eat whatever junk food they come across, and that's what the children love, you know? So she decided to come and look for me, and I was with my brother, and my brother used to be a poly-drug abuser. So, you know, when we were just in the house, just chatting, having our drinks there, because I was drinking even when I was pregnant. So the porter came and said, you have a visitor. I said, who? And she said, wife to so-and-so. And I said, what? Why is she looking for me?
Of all the people.
Yeah, so my brother goes like, ngoja nivute bangi alafu atajua mimi ni nani. That woman will not touch you. And tamtandika. Ajue Yesu ni Bwana. So my brother told the porter, go and tell her to come to the swimming pool bar. So my brother went and smoked his marijuana. And then he went to the swimming pool bar. So he arranged, he said, this woman will sit next to the swimming pool. I'll sit now between you and her so that if she brings ujinga, I'll beat her up and drown her in the swimming pool,
Wow.
you know. So, but that didn't happen. She
didn't.
came and said, actually, I've come, I'm so and so, and I've just come to thank you for taking very good care of my children when I was away.
Wow.
Because my children love you so much, but I wanted to know who is this mom they want to come to. So I wanted to meet you first and tell me if it is okay if I bring them over. So he said, the fact that my husband has disowned this pregnancy, so Mokweli, even when he makes me pregnant in a kagai shape, so he should not even start saying here, this pregnancy is not his pregnancy. So she told me, I will support you.
Wow.
I'm here to support you.
No,
Because I know what being abandoned is.
Yes.
You have another child, and because my children have told me they have another sister, and this is now a second child now, I'll support you all the way where I can. And from that day, she used to come pick me up, take me to the clinics, pay. And actually, even when I delivered my baby, she paid the maternity fee and everything, did shopping for the baby, and even got me a house girl. And she's the one who used to pay.
Wow.
So she told me, this man cannot chase us like that. So I will be taking money from him and bringing to you. We have to support this boy, because this boy is going to be someone prominent in this nation one day. Yes.
Wow.
So we became very good of friends, but unfortunately, she later passed on.
No.
She later passed on, and they passed on in a road accident. 3 sisters died on the spot. So it was very sad. But
So did
I
that
left
help you?
Kericho. I left Kericho now after the baby was about, I think, 1 year. We left. We capitalized.
So
on
when you
that.
had the baby, were you still drinking?
Yeah, I was still drinking.
You're still drinking up to here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was still drinking. So I capitalized on the Molo clashes that time and decided to leave Kericho. And actually my brother was a violent person also, and at times cops were looking for him because of, you know, these fight bars and all these kind of things. And actually he got into the bus that was carrying the IDPs. So he went back to Thika as an IDP.
Okay.
Na watu wakamchangia pesa mzuri, and he started maisha there. So actually when I fell out with the management of the hotel, and I decided now I have to leave, because actually I was very cross with my manager. I mean, how does a man come and buy me 2 beers and then ask for the bill? You know, so I made a lot of noise. I mean, pombe mbili and you're asking for the bill. Bill inafaa kuja, inapinduliwa, inajaa pande ingine. That's the importance of a bill, not 2 beers and then that's a wastage of paper and receipts. So, and this is my boss, because I'm high, I said all the nasty things that I could say. So the following day, there was a meeting, all heads of department. The meeting was about me. I had drunk until morning, and actually I blacked out. So they discussed me, then they woke me up and told me the meeting was about you, because you insulted the manager yesterday. That's the secretary telling me. Gambia, so what? Is that a big deal? Losing a job, this is not the first one. Neither is it going to be the last. So far so good, I'm leaving, and I took off. So when I was about to leave, my brother called me and said, Mazee, usinitafute, mimi nishakitoa, I'm in Thika. I said, even me, kama nitafutwa job. Akaniambia, nani ameshawahi futwa job, jifute. So nikamwambia sasa, you know, he just told me, go to the police station, wait for the bus that is coming carrying the IDPs. Get inside there and don't carry anything, because hakuna IDP anakuja na kitu. Alafu I mobilize my dad's friends so that I tell them, umepatikana, nyumba imechomwa, so that they changa for you, but 10% ni yangu juu ya kumobilize watu. So we struck a deal. So that's how I ended up now again back in Thika. People contributed for me. They wakanunua vitu, blankets. Bitco gave us blankets and mafuta. My family, some of my family members got me a place to stay, and I was very happy because that place was not very far from the bar.
Again, hey, you always take where the bar is.
Where the bar is. So, and I was being very careful. Wasinunue vitu mingi so that the money doesn't finish. So I kept on reminding them, and remember, we need money for vegetables. But that was for drinking. So I started frequenting that bar. You know, as an alcoholic, you have to have plan A and plan B. So I knew it was not going to go for long before they realized that I was actually not an IDP. And so in that bar, there was a doctor who used to come and drink there. So I made friends with the doctor. He used to sit and talk and talk and talk. You know, he would ask me, I understand, Sasa, Gasheri, you came as an IDP, you know what happened. And I would tell him stories of how Kikuis were being killed. I would even cry. And you know, these are all it's all my own thinking.
Your own thinking, yeah.
Yes, and I could cry seriously. And you know, he used to repeat me. And so he would tell me, don't even pay the bill. And then inside I'm saying, Ionitic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so one day, actually,
Yeah.
the persons who were paying my rent realized I was not an IDP, and I had seen it coming. So actually, they told me, tunasikia, hata wewe huku IDP, you are actually, you just, you know, uliwacha kazi tu juu ya ulevi. So we are not paying your rent anymore. I said, so far so good. I don't have a problem. I knew. The doctor didn't have a wife, and he was living alone in a 2-bedroom house, and that was my plan B. So actually, when one day I decided, now I'm going to go to the bar and sit there and drink, because he used to tell me, if you get there before me, drink, just have drinks, I'll come and pay. So now I planned, the moment he enters, I will start crying. And I cried and cried. And then so, anajaribu kunituliza, I say, I can't even talk, I can't talk. I don't know what to do. My rent. You know, the doctor just asked me, why don't you move into my house? I have a 2-bedroom house. You can come with the children, there's no problem.
And that was planned.
Well, that had been planned. A daktari, can you refuse that kind of offer?
No.
So the following day I was in his house. And even all the karais had been given, some with virakas. I gave them out in the plot. He said, nani antaka karai na kitanda ya double decker? I gave them out and I moved in with daktari. Yeah, so you know, daktari being a single man, I decided now this one I have to have a plan B in this house. Otherwise, he might bring a woman in this house in the name of a wife. So after some time, I moved into the bedroom and we became now husband and wife. And actually, we lived together for 5 years, but he kept on being transferred from one hospital to another because of drinking. So he was a doctor at Thika district. From there, we were taken to PGH, Provincial General Hospital, now what they call the county government hospitals. We stayed there for 3 years. Again, he was transferred to Alcalao just because of drinking, going to work under the influence of alcohol, not going to work when he's on call, going to theater when he's under the influence of alcohol. And then we were transferred to Alcalao. And then the MOH knew us from Thika. So the moment we landed, he called the PMO and said, if this is the doctor that you've sent, I know this man. Let the hospital stay without a doctor, but I don't want him. We were abandoned. So we were called back to the provincial headquarters. Then we were told to report to Kirowea. So the PMO told us, mukirejectiwa huko, then I have no option but to kuvuta kazi. So we went to Kirowea and we stayed there for only 2 months. Daktari woke up one day, vomited blood and died. Yeah, so it became very, very bad. Now I had 3 children. It became very bad for me.
Oh, you got pregnant for him as well.
We, the family now started blaming me for his death. You know, as Africans, we have to blame somebody or something.
Yeah.
So when a person dies, you have to blame another person, you have to blame a situation, or you have to blame, at least ni vile alifutwa kazi ndio. Hiyo kampuni sasa ndio imefanya hapo. So now they are saying that I am the one who made him die. Because I was contributing to his drinking. I mean, I found a whole grown-up doctor drinking. And I was a whole grown-up woman drinking. And we, you know, we started living together. 2 alcoholics living together.
Yeah.
So they said, no, you're not coming for the funeral. I was not allowed to view his body. I was not allowed to go even near the coffin. That's another loss of a person who was very, very close to me. I had not processed my dad's death. Now here there is another one who has died.
Imagine.
So actually, they took everything from my house and left me with only the clothes me and my children were wearing on the funeral day. They chased me from Chiroma mortuary. So my mom took my children, and a family friend offered to host me in Thika. So I went to Thika. Again, depression started setting in, started now self-medicating with alcohol. Now there's no money. I started drinking second-generation alcoholic drinks. So this cheap whiskey, I started selling things. Then a friend of mine came from Germany and asked, where is Gasheri these days? Then she was told, Gashari, if you want to say Gashari, go to the market, those cheap alcoholic wines and spirit shops. You'll find her outside there sitting on a form, looking very, very, very disheveled. So she came and looked for me, and I'm telling you, she saw me, she cried. She said, Gashari, is this you? Are you the Miss Kenya that we knew?
Imagine.
She said, no, I'm not leaving you behind. I'm here for 2 weeks. When I go back to Germany, I'll send you an invitation letter. And she did. And that's how I got to Germany.
Wow.
So now my drinking had become so bad that I could not survive without alcohol. So she would go to work and leave me at the house. She was living with her boyfriend. By the time they come in the evening, I've not cooked, I've not washed the vyombos, I have drunk, I have smoked in the house, I've blacked out on the couch. So she realized now she's actually imported a problem. This is not a friend anymore. This is a problem, I brought upon myself. And then we used to have, every addict or every alcoholic has a home pub. So there was a pub that we used to go to called Cafe Duck. And actually, she decided no more alcohol in her house. No more cigarettes. If you want cigarettes, you buy your own. No more money, because she's the one who was keeping my money. So now with the withdrawals in the morning, and I could not survive without alcohol, I went to Cafe Duck. And I just sat at the counter, looked at the alcohol, the way it's displayed, I started crying. Yani, when we're yani, I'm talking to the alcohol, because now I don't have money, I don't have nothing. And you know, this, it was owned by a Cameroonian who did not understand what I was going through. But he could see the shakes and the tremors and all that. So he just called the waiter and he said, okay, give Anne 4 shots of Russian vodka, a packet of cigarettes and a lighter. I'm telling you, I nilipiga flash, the 4 shots. I took a cigarette, I got the convulsions. Now this time I used to get severe convulsions, very severe convulsions. And then I sat and I said, no, I have to have a plan B, and this plan B has to work real fast. So I used to sit at the corner, at the counter, and I just look at those wazungus and I saw money. So I asked them, have you ever been to Kenya? They said, no, you've never been to Kenya, and tell us about Kenya. So I said, no, Kenya is a very precious country. So if you want to hear anything about Kenya, I give the talk, you pay. So they said, no problem, Anna. Tell us about the wildlife and everything, and the tribes of Kenya, their Maasais, and all that. So actually we used to charge me and there. So now we had a deal, me and the barman, the bar owner. He charges them as they enter, those ones who want to listen to the stories. If you don't want to listen, you go that side, so you don't pay. And then in the evening, we go another money. So I would give talks about the wildlife, the lions, when they mate, when they give birth, to me how many cubs, for how long they nyonyesha. I saw the lion the other day when I went for a
But here you're telling people stories.
Yeah, I'm telling them stories. You have to cook those stories, and you can't talk about one animal in one day. It will take about 3 days. And then you ask questions. Have you understood very well how they made and when? I've never seen those. I just used to watch documentaries, and then I come and give the stories. And actually now, you could have thought I was the director of Kenya Wildlife. Because of the stories I used to give. And then I would talk about the tribes of Kenya and the traditions, circumcision seasons, the warriors, the Maasai Morans.
But you're still in your friend's house, still here?
Yeah, but you know, now I'd go and come back drunk, but they would not know how I'm getting them.
Because they took everything away from you, yes.
Yes. So this is where I met a Mzungu now. I started having a plan B because now the stories are zikaanza kuishaisha. So I started now I looked at this Mzungu who used to come there and he used to like my talks very much. And you know, one day he asked me, he used to ask a lot of questions. So he tell me, Anna, come and sit next to me, and I would go and sit next to him, and we talk and talk and talk until one day he told me, Anna, I'm in love with you and I would like to marry you. I'd done very good research and I knew this man had no wife, he had no children, he had no relatives. So I knew hata akikufa hatutang'ang'ana kotini na mtu. Yeah. So I told him, when I fell in love with you long time ago, I just didn't know how to tell you. So will you marry me? Yes, when I'll marry you. I called my brother. Wabangi sasa. You know what? Kuna mzee hapa anataka kunioa, anakaa kifo na pesa imechanganyika. My brother kaniambia, don't waste time. With such kind of people, don't waste time. Don't even wait for those people to pass papers of marriage. Come to Kenya, get married in Kenya very quickly, and then go with Kenyan marriage certificate. Because they'll start asking for spinster certificate, we start getting letters from the chiefs. I don't know when they'll get it, and he might die before. So my brother... My brother was my partner in crime. I
Yes.
mean, we used to do crazy stuff together. He's so rest in peace. So we actually came to Kenya,
Yeah.
and we went to the Attorney General's office. Then we were told, I don't know, you have to give a 21 days notice or something like that. So we went back. My brother decided to host us. He had a 2-bedroom house. So he said, there's no point of wasting money with hotels and everything. You come and stay in my house. Because now, the three of us are all drinking.
Yeah.
You know, so, and actually we used to get a lot of vodka from the armed forces. Because my Mzungu husband, you know, loved vodka. So we got married. So when we came from the Attorney General's office, so we were told now to wait for those 21 days. And he really had to go back to Germany because I think he had a visa of, I think only 1 month or 6 weeks or something like that. So my brother, so when we went back, he started coughing. You know, he used to smoke tobacco. So he used to roll it himself with Rizzlers. So it was not filtered. So he had a problem with the chest. He had a problem with his intestines. I don't know, he had been operated how many times, I think 4. Wow. And the doctor had told him to go off alcohol. And he told him the next time, you might just die in your house. You know, you might sleep and not wake up. So hii story yote he had told me, and so I told my brother. So my brother kaniambia mazi spidisha. Huyu mtu vile anakoa anaweza kukitoa anytime. And nimejitolea kuwa best man. Yeah. I'll be your best man, but si uko na pesa, you have money. Can you go and look for a Kikuyu at Attorney General's office? We bribe them, waspidisha hii harusi. So anyway, in Kenya you can get your way out as long as you have money, and that's what happened. So my brother was my best man. And we went. Actually, I just went to a tailor shop here, and I told them, Pima nguo ya harusi. He told me it might take 2 weeks. Nikamwambia, listen, I want it by 4. Now it's 1. Okay. I told him, can you bring a cream material? Because me, I'm not a virgin to wear white. Cut up, that's the neck, sleeveless, short, 2 slits, weka lining, sina kamisi. So I went to the next shop, bought shoes. So by 4, I had everything. Wow. I had the dress, I had the shoes, I had the chain belt, gold chain belt. I'd come with my necklace and earrings from Germany and all that. And we were set to go. So we went to Blue Post, booked the hotel for the day. And that's where the reception was. We came, got married the following day, I think in 4 days. Yeah. We were already married. Wow. So after about a month, after let's say 3 weeks, when I went back to Germany, he wanted to adopt my children, and so there are some papers, adoption papers he was supposed to send me, so that I'm allowed to go with the children so that he can go and adopt the children legally now in Germany. He went and died. He died 2 weeks after. 2 weeks later.
So your brother could see it.
Sorry?
Your brother could see all this.
My
so
brother
selling it to Harish.
Yes, Spidisha, so that, you know, we had a plan of me and my brother going to Germany so that we can get him a German wife so that he also becomes a citizen. Yeah. So those were the plans. That's the thinking of an addict.
Alcohol that made him die as well, the German guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he had been told by the doctor to stop drinking.
And he didn't.
And he didn't. So
now here you're mourning for the 3rd person.
I'm mourning for the 3rd person. And actually, my friend called me and told me, you know what, Vena was found dead in the house. Because, you know, the neighbor said, no, this guy is not coming out. The police tried calling. He was not picking his house phone, telephone. And actually, so they came and broke the door and found him dead on the couch. Wow. So I asked Shiko, has he written a will? Because I was after the money. That guy had chums. He had money, real good money that I could have survived with for the rest of my life without working. Yeah. So he told me no. Yeah, you know, they shared a lawyer with Shiko, and so Shiko went and said this guy went to Kenya, and the lawyer knew because he's the one who helped him process the papers and the visas to come to Kenya. So he said he had not written a will. So everything went with the German government. Wow. Yeah, so I never inherited anything. I cried for 3 days, not because of his death, but because of the money, the house, the car. This man was too old. He was 85, me, I was 39. Okay. Yeah, so you can see the age difference. I was after the money because the money was good, the house was good, the cars. You know, yani unaangalia magari mpaka wewe unafurahia tu hata kabla hujaingia. Yes. So that is what I was mourning, and I mourned that a lot. And so that's now another person who's died of alcoholism. Yeah. And all this time, it never clicked to me that, you know, they are dying of alcoholism. Now people started now saying, I have a bad omen. That anybody who gets close to me dies. They die. So when I go to a bar, and actually I went to the German embassy and they said, no, even if you have the Kenyan marriage certificate, you can't give your citizenship. You are not married according to the Dutch law. So I lost everything.
lost.
And there was no point of even going back to Germany. But then my brother was telling me, you go for the funeral, so you look for another Mzungu who looks rich, and you go and cry there so that he starts telling you pole. So that then from there, you pick up on this other one. So, my brother had crazy ideas because you can imagine him being on alcohol, bangi, and any other thing that could make him high. He was a very fast thinker and a very, very bright person. He was very intelligent. So now with the money not there, I started selling things.
Here you're still in Kenya, single?
Yeah, I'm still in Kenya. I started selling my clothes, my shoes, my jewelry. I sold even my wedding ring. Everything went down the drain, went back to went back to second generation alcoholic drinks. It came to a point where now I started moving from a 3-bedroom house. My children started going to very cheap schools. And my mom said now this is a real problem, and my mom took the children. So my mom didn't know I was sick. So she just told me, wacha nichukue watoto, wewe enda ukunywe pombe ukitashaka utakujia. So my mom took my children to boarding schools, and I kept on deteriorating. So I saw practically everything. I ended up now, from second generation, I went to drinking changa. And living literally in the slums of Thika, Kiandutu.
Yes.
That is where I used to drink. Makongeni, Kiandutu, Kiangombe, very shady places. So actually my brother told me, vile ujawazoea steam, wacha ni, I get to a place opposite the Changaden, so that you drink and go and sleep. So at times, it got to a point when I really wanted to stop. But I was not able to. So I would go to crusades, I get born again. In the morning, I've forgotten. So I go to the Changaden, namwambia simuniuzi ati hapana, jana ulipitia hapa, and you told us umeokoka. I would tusi them. I was very abusive. I would abuse them until they give me changa free. They tell me, drink and go. So anyway, I think I got born again, I think about 3 times in the crusade. I thought this one is not working. So one time I decided to go to a church. Because I wanted a person who was not judgmental, a person who would listen to my pain, because I was suffering. I was suffering, and nobody could see it. Nobody could see that I needed help. I did not understand myself. I did not understand why people did not understand me, yet I did not understand myself. I felt so lost. And I felt the only person I can talk to is the pastor. Because nasikia ka pastor anaombea mtu, hiyo pepo inatoka. Because now people start saying, niko na pepo. Pepo ya kifo na ya ulevi. Every man who comes near me dies. And then hii ingine ya pombe. So actually, anytime I went somewhere, a man would walk away. Say, I don't want to die. Because anybody who gets close to you dies. So you can imagine the stigma, the labeling, the rejection by the community around you. The family has rejected you.
Jesus.
I was a loner. The only person who was my friend now was my brother. And actually his nickname was Jesus, now that you've mentioned Jesus. Why he was called Jesus is because he was a very generous person. So anytime he came to the Changaden and found someone, with suffering from withdrawals, the shakes and, they would just put their hands up. Jesus, nitibu. And then he would buy them the changa. Ati, pewa maji ya moyo. So that is kutibu now. So they used to call him Jesus because of buying them alcohol in the morning. So wanasema, Jesus amekuja, Jesus tutibu. Nasema, peweni maji ya moyo. Ati nao changa. This is maji ya moyo. Anyway, we used to call him Jesus. And they used to call me Makate. Makate is an alcoholic in Sheng.
Okay, Makate.
So, yeah, Makate. So I went to church and I was thrown out by the ushers. I never got to go beyond the door. What? So ati wewe mlevi, ondoa hii ulevi yako hapa. Kwanza ni pombe gani hiyo unakunywa? I drank buza, I drank changa, nilikuwa nimechana mira. I didn't even know what had made me high. So they literally threw me, and actually not just outside the church, but one beba and threw me across the road. We don't want people of your caliber near our church. I went and sat on a stone. And I said, surely, my family has rejected me. The society around me, the church now has rejected me. I sat there and cried. And the only thought that came to my mind was suicide. I'd been in and out of hospital. So anytime I got out of, because I used to have alcohol-related complications. At times I would drift in, there's a time I even drifted into a coma. I would get very bad palpitations until I'm admitted in hospital. So pneumonia every other time because I don't have warm clothing. You know, in the slums now, I'd sold nearly all my sweaters. So hata nikienda town nilikuwa naanua nguo za watu kwa kamba, nakimbia town nakuja natoa nairudisha kwa kamba when it's dirty. So I concerned with very many people, and so I went back to my shanty, and I actually...
So now they threw you out of the church?
They threw me out of the church.
You felt suicidal?
Yeah, that's when I started now thinking of ending my life. Because if God has rejected you,
imagine. Oh Lord.
Who else do you go to? So I went back to my shanty. There's a tin where I used to keep medication. So nikaenda kwa changa, nikawaambia wanipatie half liter. We used to call it mtoto. So I said nipatie mtoto moja. And I went to my place. I'd sold even the bed. I was sleeping on a very thin mattress. So I took all the medication and I drank my changa and stayed there, waiting for death. So my brother came to base. And then he asked, Makate ako wapi? I said, Makate came and bought mtoto, akaenda kwake. My brother said, Apana, this is not possible. And he said, let me check on her. Because one, inaonekana, nasi katen ya maana, kamefungwa. But my brother knew he would get into my room because I'd sold paka lock ya mlango. I exchanged it for a glass of changa.
Yes.
So I used to push a jerrycan of water ilikuwa nafunga mlango. So what my brother used to do is kusukuma hiyo mlango to come and check on me because he knew I used to have very bad withdrawals.
Yeah.
So, and we had seen people die at the changa dens. Mtu anaanguka tu anakufa. So in the morning, the first thing he would do at 6 o'clock in the morning is to come and give me changa. Ananifeed changa kwa hiyo mattress. Ananipatia sigara ya roaster. Then I get the shakes and the convulsions. And then I would stabilize. Then we'd go and hustle. So this time round, he said, no, this is not possible. So when he came, he found me now unconscious. So he akasema, my sister is dying. So he went and called his friends. They put me in a taxi. They took me to hospital. So I was admitted in hospital, and I stayed there for about, I think, 5 days. So my mom now mobilized all my uncles and cousins. Nini, Jerry tried to kill herself. So let's go and see her in hospital. And the first thing one of my cousins asked me, ulikuwa unajua wapi na umekataliwa paka na shaitani? So you've been chased away from God, and here someone tells you that even in hell you have no place. That the devil cannot accommodate someone like you. We know you are terrible, you are worse, even the devil cannot accept you in hell. So I said, now, okay, God alinifukuza. Shaitani amenikataa. So what nilisikiaka kwa Bible, ati Kain alikuwa na float paka leo. Si nikufa ni float kama Kain. You know? And nilikuwa natetesha Mungu because like there's another lady who was admitted next to me, and she was a Mother's Union lady, and I was asking God, she died. I was asking God, why do you take such a person?
Why not
this
me?
Person is so useful. She's your servant. Why now not take me who is so useless in this world? So actually, that hit me so hard when I was told that even Satan cannot accept me in hell. So the day I was discharged, I attempted suicide again. So I was admitted again in hospital. So wanakuja ni nani? Ule mlevi wa kujiua. Even I had a name in that hospital.
Mlevi wa kujiua.
Yeah, so again you've been labeled another mlevi wa kujiua. So again the same, after the second discharge, I attempted suicide again, the third time. So when I was discharged the third time is when I was just sitting there in the Changaden, I saw a guy coming, looking very nice. I said, this guy looks familiar. Then until he came near to me, then nikaona it's a guy I know. So he's a family friend who had been to rehab. Then when my mom was talking about me, unajua wamama wanaongeaga sana kwa chama. So she said, Jerry siku hizi hata amepotea kwa pombe nini. So this lady said, you know what? My son hata alikuwa ameuza nguruwe zangu zote. The changa mama wa changa ule kwa karibu na shamba yangu had more nguruwe than me because alikuwa anachukua piglets anaenda na exchange na changa. So tulimpeleka rehab. There is a way out. Your daughter is very sick. We didn't know that even our son was sick until somebody directed us to that rehab. So what we are going to do, because my son now already is training as an addiction counselor, we are going to use him to reach out to you, to Jerry. So since we had grown up together, is those people of being introduced to alcohol in childhood. Is when now he came looking for me. He asked for directions and how he can come. So my mom told him, you had better be very careful because Jerry is very abusive. Very abusive. Anaonaga mtu anaanza kukutusi paka una sweat. So he said it's okay. Even me, I was like that. Nilikuwa natusi watu hivyo tu. But it's because of her low self-esteem, lack of self-worth, and that's why she's attempting suicide. She needs help. She needs support. She needs to be loved. So that guy came, nikamwona akaniambia, Bashari, and I couldn't believe it. He came and hugged me. Na uchafu yangu. You know, I sold even shoes. I used to wear slippers of different colors. Na nilipewa huko kwa changa. One red, one blue. And then my left feet used to swell. You know, kutoka hapa kwenda chini. It's like I had elephantitis. So I used to drag the slippers because again the feet couldn't fit in. So I was just full of dust. And he came and hugged me and told me, Gasheri, I love you. You are so beautiful. This thing, there is a way out. You can get a way out of changa. I've heard your story. I love you so much, even if people have rejected you. I cried. For the first time, I felt someone loves me. For the first time, I felt
someone hugged you.
Hope, and you know, hope started streaming in, you know. I started realizing that, kumbe, I'm still a human being. And he told me, I'll walk with this journey with you. Mimi nilipelekwa rehab, and here I am. I'm training as an addiction counselor. I'm working in a rehab. I'll take you to a place where actually you can be rehabilitated. And the way I know you, Gasheri, you can make a difference in this country. Because 1, you are very courageous. 2, you are very social. 3, you can look the world in the eye and tell them what you feel and what you like and what you don't like, and that's what I like about you. And you're going to make a difference in this campaign against alcohol and drug abuse. And that guy gave me hope. And that is how I ended up in rehab. So we went to Asumbi, Homa Bay, but my mom told him, don't take her during the day. Akiona penye unapitishia utamkuta Nairobi kama amesharudi. So you take her at night. So wakabook akamba ya usiku. That's how I ended up now in Homa Bay. We arrived in the morning. So when I went there, I felt, you know the other clients, you know, they meet you at the gate. Karibu sana, you are so welcome. Even sis tulikuja vile umekuja. So there was so much love in the rehab. So actually the person who admitted me, actually told me I'm also a recovering alcoholic. I was a teacher, but now I'm an addiction counselor. I'm 7 years sober. So he gave me his story a little. Nava inaanguka, so there was no point of wearing. Nikamwambia hata mimi sina ya ndani because nimekonda paka. I threw them because they couldn't fit me.
Nikukonda.
Yeah, nikukonda because I was, I think 46 kg like a goat. So actually, I found a lot of love and, you know, acceptance in the rehab, and that is what really motivated me to stay. I'd said I'd stay for maybe 2 weeks and then go. But after that, I realized God has a purpose for me.
Amen.
And I decided I'm going to do the program for the 3 months. And I stayed there, and at some point I was the only female client among about 35 men. So I was living with the secretary in the secretary's house. So I did the program, and actually after the program, when I completed the program, in fact I didn't want to go home because where was I going to? To that world, that hostile world. So I asked the director if I can stay for another 2 weeks or a month. But I told him, don't charge my mom. She doesn't have any more money. She's the one who's paying my children's school fees. He said, it's okay, and you can stay.
But the way here, your children are still there.
Yeah, with my mom now.
Unaenda kuwaona?
I had no time for children. Children were, to me, were a bother at that time. Because where is the money? Where is the money even? Busway, how do I remove busway to go and see the children when I can drink?
Wow.
So alcohol had become my higher power.
Yes.
You know, I worshipped it. I literally worshipped alcohol.
So now here, you told them to extend to another month.
Yeah. And then, just while I was there, then one of the counselors left. They have a branch in Karen. So they asked me if I would come and volunteer as a counselor aide. So I was very happy. So I called my mom. My mom came for therapy. At least my mom is one person who never gave up on me.
Amen.
My mom walked with me, even when I was in the worst of the situations. When everybody rejected my mom never gave up on me.
Amen.
She never gave up on me. She, even the one who paid for the rehab and everything, she used to come and visit me all the way from Muranga, you know, to Homa Bay. So you can imagine she would travel at night so that she gets there in the morning and then take another bus at night to be in Nairobi by morning to travel back to Muranga. Isn't that a mother's love? That's true love. So I volunteered as a counselor aide, and then later we got training by VSO, Voluntary Services Overseas. They were training recovering alcoholics and drug addicts as addiction counselors. So actually, the rehab paid for me. They said, no, we are not, you've been so good to us, even you volunteered, you've never asked for money, you always come early and leave late after everybody else has gone. But they didn't know it was a trick. I don't have money for food. So I had to go very early so that when the clients are having breakfast, I have breakfast. And I leave late when the clients are having supper, so that because I got myself, my mom got me a place in Gonga, one room. So I told my mom, the only thing I need is a mattress. I don't want to bother you anymore. So actually, after that, after the training, they employed me now as a counselor here in Nairobi. So I continued living in Gong. I didn't go back to Thika. Only go back to Thika to fish out an alcoholic and take them to rehab. Because I knew going back to the same environment would be a big trigger to me. Going back to the same people, the same environment, the same environment where you were rejected, the same environment where people put you down, the same environment when people labeled you. When they saw you like you are nobody, I didn't want to go back to that environment. And that's why I decided now to stay in Gong. So actually, so after 3 years, I went public. That was through Nation newspaper. And then after that, I was invited by NTV. And that is how actually I got into the media limelight, you know, giving talks, and I love it. I love doing this because it changes, it gives hope. Because even if we campaign for 100 years and we are not giving hope to that particular parent who has a child who is an addict, then there's no point of calling yourself a campaigner. There's no point of saying that you campaign against alcohol and drug abuse when you're not giving people hope. If we don't have government funded rehabilitation centers, why are we campaigning? Fine, you give the information. Where do you refer them to? We have only 3 rehabilitation centers in Kenya. That is Mathare Mental Hospital, Coast General Hospital, and Moi Referral Hospital. So it's a big challenge. Rehabilitation centers in Kenya are very expensive. So you find a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts dying because they cannot afford rehabilitation, you know, rehabilitation fee. And that pains me a lot. And that is what motivates me even to talk about my journey in alcoholism so passionately, without shame. Some people might get ashamed, some family members. Oh, unatuaibisha, ulituaibisha, ukikunywa pombe unatuaibisha hata sasa kama uko soba ama bado hujawacha kabisa. But that's their problem, not mine. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm who I am because of who I was. And again now, after some time, I went to church, I got born again. And so I give talks in churches, I give talks through media, I give talks at the workplace, in schools, you know, to tell them the effects of drugs and give them hope, those who are in addiction, that, you know, actually it's doable. If I am 15 years sober right now, going to 16.
Imagine, someone used to sleep next to the Changa house.
Yes. And now I have a 2-bedroom apartment, well furnished. I live with my daughter and my granddaughter. My firstborn is now in the US. She's in Texas. She's working there. My son now is married. He's in Roysambu with his wife. So my last-born daughter is the one who is with me. And I thank God for what I'm doing, because you have to go through fire to be polished. To be polished, because God wants to use you.
In that area.
In that area. So if I didn't drink,
if you didn't go through
I would not have the experience, you know, to tell people, this is the person I was, and this is the person I am today. And actually, that's why you see, even before we started the show, how many calls came in. People want, and please kindly refer us to a rehab. We saw you on this channel. We saw you on this channel. And actually, that's what I do. Giving people hope and actually placing them to the right treatment facilities and reaching out to that common wananchi who cannot be able to afford rehabilitation. I give out my number. They call me. We talk over the phone and give them hope.
Yes.
and refer them to AA meet support groups, NA support groups, all that.
Yes.
Because I love alcoholics, irrespective of who they are, irrespective of their social status or background. They are still human beings. They are our brothers, they are our fathers, they are our cousins, they are our people. Walevi ni watu na walevi ni wetu.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, now that you've mentioned about your number, would you be able to give our viewers your number so they can reach out to you? Maybe there's a mother watching, she's looked help all over.
Yeah.
Ameshindwa kabisa. But your story inalingana na watu wengi out there. So many youth, so many people, so many mothers are crying.
Yes.
Mothers are crying. And my show is more of mothers because mothers are crying. And the youth are there, they're saying, where can I get the help? Pastors wametukata.
Yeah.
Community imetukata. The husband has run away.
Yeah.
Babangu ndo amenikata. What am I going to do?
It's crazy.
You become in a place of a mess. We mwenyewe umejikata.
Yeah.
So you are confused, you don't know what to do. But my viewers, you need to understand, when someone is in addiction, they're in a place of pain, trying to find out what is going on within them. What is going on within them.
Yes.
So please kindly share your number so they can be able to reach out to you. Anne is available anytime. She's working with so many people and they're on their way to recovery. So kindly share your number.
Thank you, viewers. And you can reach me on 0726. You can reach me on 0726 596040. I repeat, 0726 596040. Recovery is possible. I got out of it, you can get out of it.
Yes.
Mothers, don't give up on your children. My mother never gave up on me, and that's why I am who I am today. Because my mother showed me love. My mother supported me, and I'm here now supporting her. Thank you very much.
Your journey is real.
Yes.
It relates to today's generation. Because when I go to those den, when I go to the changa, it's our youth who are there. Our leaders of tomorrow, our pastors, our doctors are in the changa. They're wasted. And when you talk to them, they want to come up, but they don't know how.
They don't know how, yeah, you're right.
They don't know how. They're like, if only you can just, as you said, you go to the pastor, pray, eat pepper, it okay. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing is happening. So I thank God that you came to this show.
Yes.
May God bless your mom. Your mom,
thank you.
She's an amazing woman.
Yes, thank you very much.
She's an amazing woman. And may God bless her. May God give her long, long life in Jesus' name.
Amen.
My viewers, talking about Anne's mom, she's been you've heard the story. She helped her with the kids. She helped her to recover, to even pay for the rehabilitation. But unfortunately today her mom she's suffering from a terminal illness. So my viewers, I want you please, for the love that the mother gave Anne Mathu, I want us as Real Talk Show to stretch out our hand, yes, and help our mother, the mother of Anne, so we can.
Admitted in hospital.
She's admitted in hospital as we speak right now. As we speak right now, she's in the hospital. So I want you guys to stretch out your hands. We're going to give you the number where you can send whatever you have. You have 50 bob, you have 100 bob, you have £1, you have 10 pounds, you have 100 pounds. Please guys, help me to raise these funds so we can help her to this mother who once helped her. So we can help her now. And see, the daughter that helped me today, she have to help me back. Guys, this is the number that you can send the M-Pesa. I'm going to put it there. Please send. It's going to come as Anne Mathu, right?
Yes, Anne Mathu. Yeah.
Please, let's help her out. She's helping our generation. Before I met her, many calls are coming in. She's helping the youth. She's talking to people. She's giving all her time. She's not even charging them. She's freely giving it out. Guys, let's stretch out as Real Talk Show family and help our sister so she can be able to help her mother in the name of Jesus.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, viewers. And yeah, I'm about to go because my mom is in hospital. So what I'd like to tell parents there is that their children need support, irrespective of what your child is going through. You are the only person who can change the life of that child. Not by bringing them down, but by holding their hand. Call me. We locate a rehab. We identify a rehabilitation center. Let them go. I will do the follow-up, and the progress reports you will get on a monthly basis. Thank you very much. na tukutane tena.
Please kindly subscribe to our channel. You know, call and speak to her, encourage her. Right now as we speak, her mom is in the hospital. Please encourage her, call her, send what you can. Prayer, we need your prayer as well. Not just money, guys. We need prayer, because we believe the power of God can do it all. So we need your prayers, we need your support. Kindly stretch out to this madam and you shall be blessed. So until next time, keep it real. It's Real Talk Show. Kwaheri na Mungu awabariki. God bless you. Amen.
Thank you.